Hello everyone and welcome back to CryptoKitty's Cafe. It's been a little time, so I'm excited to be able to play a little bit more. I've got a lot of things to cover today, so let's jump into it. To start off, just a quick note that I officially introduced the CryptoKitty's Cafe to the world, which is super fun. And so, it's been up for people to use, but this was more of a formal introduction to let people know what was up and why we decided to make it, and to give a shout out to Erin, who has been amazing and co-created it with me. We even got a little shout out from the CryptoKitties Medium blog, which was super sweet of them, because they actually have been super interested in working with content creators and third-party tools in a way that continues to kind of promote decentralization. We're in a kind of interesting place where they, we're interacting with an IP and intellectual property, and they want us to be able to do what we want, but there are some trade-offs with that as well. So I think that they're doing, as far as I know, they've been doing quite a bit to try and make sure they can balance all their different needs. So that's super cool. And actually, in that vein, they came out with something called the Nifty license. So they officially came out and said that if you are building a project, a third-party project that is based on CryptoKitties, you are allowed to use the CryptoKitties art for it. There are some conditions, and there are some conditions around commercialization of that work, which is super important for you to be aware of if you're thinking of using their assets. But they also came out with this really amazing exclusive Ferlin, which I think is super adorable, super adorable. And it looks like they've handed some out already to different creators who are already building their apps, but it looks like they also kept some in reserve for some future contributors. So if you're interested in making a third party something, some sort of game or app or something to go to kind of like deepen and create more experience for kitty owners, this could be your guy. You can get one of these. Maybe you might want to talk to them about that, because that's pretty cool. So here is the CryptoKitties website, where we can see Kittyverse. Woo! And these are some of the projects that are already running. All these projects are very cool. Kitty Race is super fun. Grayscale got a special kitty hat prize from that we're gonna see when we get to see Grayscale. We're gonna get to him in a little while. Kitty hats, I obviously love kitty hats. Kitty battles looks super cool too. I was on their Discord and going to contribute to lore for about half a second, but I really needed to limit my time on Discord for sure, so I didn't end up doing that. But I took a look at some of the work that they've done so far, and it looked really great. There's actually an alpha up, and I even think that Louis has done some streams doing the alpha battles. I'll see if I can find a link for that. So that's very cool. If I find that link, I should probably watch it too. Okay, so along with kind of formally acknowledging the Kittyverse programs, they've also introduced this Nifty Kitty program, where they created this license called the Nifty license to help people understand and sort of navigate this sort of in-between space where you have an NFT, you have a non-fungible token, and it's stored on the blockchain, but sort of how we are going forward with these NFTs when we're using them in these crypto games is that there is an associated artwork with them, which you don't own, which is not on the blockchain. And so the Nifty license is sort of a tool for people, game developers, to start thinking about how they want those assets to be used. So I encourage you to take a look if you're interested in making a project, reach out to them, let them know what's up. I mean, be prepared for a certain amount of personal responsibility and kind of personal drive, because, you know, they're a company, they're going to help you do what, you know, they're going to help you in the way that they feel is appropriate, based on their needs. And one of the amazing things about getting involved in blockchain stuff is that you don't always need their permission for everything, you know. So feel free to strike out on your own and create what you need, because that's one of the beauties and probably one of the reasons, like, that they chose to make this such a kind of mixed experience game for us. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the Nifty license. So it's got its own website and everything, niftylicense.org, and, you know, they're introducing it. Okay, so they actually want this to people who are using NFTs for any sort of crypto game, not just CryptoKitties kind of stuff, to be able to, like, kind of use this license as kind of a jumping point to start from, which is if you don't have access to lawyers, or you don't want to kind of wade through all the extra work to determine what you want your users to be able to do and not do. I think it's very cool of them to offer this up for folks. So I encourage you to take the time to go through this license thoroughly and take a look at it. I thought it was pretty great. We went over it here a couple of times, looking at what it covers. And basically what it covers is, you know, the particular NFT, the art associated with it, and mostly for non-commercial use, unless you have received permission from the person who created the art or owns the IP. But don't take my summary as a replacement for reading through it, because I really like what they did here, and I think it makes a lot of sense the direction that they went. So, you know, take a look at the tool. Aside from that, the next thing I wanted to talk about was Kitty Pride. So Kitty Pride was a new fancy, time-limited fancy that came out the last week of June in honor of Pride Month. And Kitty Pride was a bit of an experiment in the sense that normally when a fancy comes out nowadays, there is you know ahead of time how many will the smart contracts will allow you to create. This wasn't always the case. Back in the day, fancies had no limits, but since the limit has been kind of implemented into the game, we generally know how many fancies can be bred. So Kitty Pride was interesting in that the catch here was that you could, if you had the right combination of traits, you had the possibility of breeding Kitty Pride for the time period that they specified, which was up until the end of June. And this was super interesting because this happened to be one of the only fancy chases that I kind of had like a prolonged engagement with. I tried to breed Swish a couple times. I did actually get to breed Swish once, my first try, but then I kind of like fell off and didn't really try anymore. Swish is still available to breed, by the way, so I guess I could get back on that. But with the time limit with Kitty Pride, there was an incentive to try and breed it in the time period. But because it was a time-limited fancy, it also sort of discouraged bot breeding in the sense that some of the most recent fancies have been bred mostly by players who have written a bot for it and have, you know, a lot of disposable ETH to try and breed it. And that can be very profitable for them, because if there's a small cap, then they can kind of monopolize that market, which is, you know, a pretty daring strategy, you know, good positionality for them in the market. I'm sort of neutral when it comes to bots, mostly because there's not really a huge amount that can be done about it. But this was an interesting but kind of test, because, you know, having a time-limited fancy, it's not super attractive to a bot to breed it, because the more that they breed, the less valuable the rest are going to become. So it's not like there's a hard cap of 350 and the bot can get all 350 of them. So 350 is what I mean by that. But yeah, so this was super fun for me. I love the design. I thought the design was gorgeous. I ended up, I think, breeding like 12 of these or something ridiculous. I especially loved the puns as usual, including the them there pun at the end. That was pretty adorable. Also, Kitty Pryde, you know, it's an X-Men reference. Kitty Pryde's a pretty great character, so that was super fun. Let's see. So, I also think that I probably picked up a few fancies since the last time I did that. I feel like I picked up a Fuzzy Cat and a Puss for Progress since the last time I did one of these recordings. A couple more have come out, including, where's Rasputin? There we go, a Canada Day fancy. This is well terrifying. CryptoKitties is so weird. This continues to be very, very, very weird. I'll probably still get one because it's got its own thing going on, so you gotta respect its individuality. I do really like the art style of CryptoKitties. I feel like there is some weird stuff going on that doesn't always appeal to me, but it's sort of like okay that not everything appeals to me. I can just go for what I like. Like, I've always thought this guy was kind of strange. This Flamingo thing is adorable. That's great. Yeah, so I haven't been super... Well, I mean, I guess if I got 3 since the last time we checked in, that's actually not too bad. Okay. Alright, moving on. If you remember last time that we did this, I introduced you to Malik. So Malik was my first Gen 0, helped us pay a lot of bills in January, which is pretty funny, and a result has a lot of children. So since then, I made a little gift for Malik. So we decided that his kind of cafe-themed dessert thing or drink thing was going to be a fruit smoothie. So here is Malik in gift form with his smoothie. This is just straight up in Piskel, which is a web app that I use to make pixel art in. I'm pretty proud of this one. I thought he was pretty great rocking his little kitty hat sunglasses. So that's pretty awesome. So our next kitty that I want to introduce you to is probably one of my favorites. Night Kitty is pretty high up there for me, but this is Princess Spice. Princess Spice was just a pretty cat that I got at some point. She was the first cat. Well, I guess CryptoKitties don't really have genders. They were the first cat that I got a kitty hat for, I think, or maybe not. I bought a lot of top hats too. I really like kitty hats, but I just really love this cat. I think they're so pretty. I love Tiger Punk. Tiger Punk was one of my first favorite cat tributes. Lemonade is obviously one that I'm super fond of as well. And, you know, the blood red and the salmon look really nice together. So for Princess Spice, we are not going to pick a drink-themed dessert. Because Princess Spice is specifically named for the island of Grenada, where my family is from, my mom is from. I'm a mixie, as you can tell, so my dad is kind of white Canadian and my mom is Afro-Caribbean. And so Grenada, where my family is from, is known as the Isle of Spice, the Spice Isle. And one of the reasons it's called, well, the reason it's called that is because there's a huge nutmeg economy there that happens. So we grow a lot of nutmeg in Grenada, and we grow a lot of other spices too. And we one of the first things that I learned how to bake was spice cake with cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice and all that good stuff. So it is only fitting that Princess Spice, as they are called, should be represented by spice cake. Spice cake is not, necessarily particularly kind of visually attractive. Let's see. Maybe we can find some nice ones. Oh yeah, some of these bunt ones are actually pretty darn adorable. Yeah, if you've never had spice cake, that's a real shame. That's a real shame. If you like sweets, it's a really, really nice dessert. It's one of my favorites to make all the time. I'll make it in any incarnation. I'll make it vegan, I'll make it vegetarian, like whatever. This was one of the first things actually that I learned how to bake vegan, because I had a lot of friends who were vegan. And so to make a really nice, moist cake was, oh, that's really cute. That's a really cute one. Should remember that one. This is nice though. Honestly, I feel like this is the kind of direction I would go in for Princess Spice, because it's a little fancy. It's a little fancy. We're going to save that for when I make Princess Spice's little thing. There are specifically like Grenada spice cake recipes. Grenada spice cake. Oh yeah. This is with the star fruit on it. Oh damn. Yo, I'm gonna save that too, cause that makes a lot of sense. And it looks really cute too. There's a ton of star fruit. We don't call it star fruit, we call it five finger, but for the 5 points on the fruit. But I think star fruit is a really, great name for it too. And let's see. Let's go back for a second. Okay. Grenada spice cake. So I don't know if this is gonna be what I know. We're gonna take a look at allrecipes.com. Yeah, dusting with confectioner's sugar for sure, and serve with fresh fruit to the season. Yeah, these are some more five fingers here. That's super. Ground allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg. Yeah, this is pretty similar to the kind of thing that I know. So that is going to be, the dessert for Princess Spice. Very fitting. And in that vein, actually, I really have something special to show you. So there is this artist that I've worked with a couple times through Slothicorn, whose name is Drawingly, and I don't know if you've seen her art around the CryptoKitty Discord or the Twitter or something. I think that she might be working with the Kitty Battle folks right now, which would be amazing. Her art is so cute. It's pretty adorable. So she actually made this picture for me, which is super, super cute, for CryptoKitty Cafe. And you can see this is kind of like, sort of like a version of me kind of thing. And then this is actually Malik right here. So cute. This is UV. And this is Princess Spice right here, front and center. It's actually really great that Princess Spice is front and center, because when I was thinking about the cafe, I sort of just imagined Princess Spice just like ordering people around, because Caribbean women, many of us like to be in charge. We like to, we say our mind. And, there's a variety of people of all genders and all temperaments in the Caribbean for sure, but that is definitely a theme. If you are a friend of mine and you ever have to do a project with me, you will probably notice that theme as well. yeah, I think this art is super cute. I think Princess Spice is adorable. I think Johnny's style is really cute. So I do hope that's true, that she's working with the Kitty Battles guys, because that would be amazing. Really, really amazing. And I am definitely going to use this art. And so sort of as I've been doing this, I knew I sort of wanted to build something around CryptoKitties. I wasn't sure what it was, but I have officially decided that I am going to make a visual novel using the Rempi engine called CryptoKitties Cafe. And what it's going to be is it's going to be sort of like an interactive tutorial introducing the player to CryptoKitties and sort of like some smart contracts, some gene stuff, all that great stuff. So this little series is just gonna flow right into the game development of that. You know, I'm sure it's great to like just hang out and chat about the different kitties in my collections, but we're gonna keep cultivating a player collection. That's a big thing for me that I really want to work on. I want to build my player collection of these kitty themed, or pardon me, cafe dessert themed kitties. But then from there we're gonna funnel it into game development. So that's gonna be super fun. I hope you stick around for that. I think I'm gonna cut it here for today. So next time, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna make some art for Princess Spice. We're gonna give them a little bit of spice cake to work with, and then we're gonna get started. Thanks so much for joining me.